is that the river jumps the bank every year and floods the vineyard. It brings new nutrients and minerals in, and that's the reason why this is the best place in the world to grow Pinot.
Wow.
Awesome.
Perfect. And then my name's Fernando Arellano. I'm Gracianna's tasting room manager. Although we are such a small team, you're basically seeing half of it here, that we all wear a lot of hats. So we do everything from grape growing to obviously the enology, the winemaking process, to sales, marketing. Because what they don't tell you when you join the wine industry, you're actually joining 5 different industries. Because first you need to grow this stuff, so you get into agriculture, and then you need to make this stuff, so you get into enology, and then you got to sell this stuff, so you have to talk to people, you have to do hospitality, you have to ship it all over the country. So today we want to just kind of have an open discussion on who we are on the Russian River Valley in general. I saw a nice lineup over there, so I think you're already all Pinot up. So ask us questions. I'm going to start off by sharing a map here. So I'm going to share my screen just to kind of orient you on where we are exactly. So I'm going to do that now. And according to me, you are hopefully seeing a map of California, a map of the Russian River Valley.
We are.
Give me a
Yes,
thumbs
we
up.
are.
Yes.
We are. We can see it.
Perfect. So we are, again, we're just going to introduce the Russian River and then ask us questions as we go. Today is going to be super casual. We're here to kind of hang out. We're just shutting down the tasting room, so this is great for us. Good way to kind of decompress. I'm hoping you can see my cursor. I'm currently right above the Green Valley.
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to start out and then zoom in. So we're going to be talking about California, but more specifically Sonoma County today. Sonoma is actually, so we're going to be talking about AVA, so American Viticulture Areas. More specifically about the Russian River Valley, which is this whole blue kind of section right in the middle of the map. Right above us, we have Dry Creek. A little bit north of us, we also have Alexander Valley, Knights Valley, Fountain Grove, a whole bunch of stuff. And then Napa is off on the right-hand side over here. Not labeled because, again, this is a Sonoma-centric map. So some generalizations, and I'll have Trini go into kind of more specifics, but some generalizations, because I think the task tonight was to bring in bottles of the Russian River Valley. Well, the Russian River Valley is a little bit larger than people expect, but there are some general trends. The coast up here is going to be rather chilly. The coast stays cold, but overnight fog wiggles into the Russian River Valley. The fog is basically the reason why we grow by acreage Chardonnay, Pinot, Zinfandel. And if you can see on the map, I'm going to show you how the fog kind of wiggles its way in. So Jenner is right here. The Russian River Valley is this little snake kind of working its way in. When the fog makes it into the Russian River Valley, it typically pushes south. So it's going to push south into Santa Rosa, into the Green Valley. So all of this area here, including the coast, is going to be very Pinot and Chardonnay centric. As soon as we start pushing a little bit north, so the town of Healdsburg is this little dot right here. Once we get into Dry Creek Valley, we're going to shift a little bit and we're going to head into Zinfandels, into Grenache. The fog doesn't work its way up there, so it's a little bit warmer throughout the day. There's more sun hours, so you want to plant things that are a little bit darker. With that same pattern in mind, let's get into Alexander Valley over here. Alexander Valley, the fog doesn't make it in that far. Now we're talking Cabs, now we're talking Cab Francs. We're talking, again, darker fruit. So the general trend and why I wanted to kind of bring up this map is because the closer to the coast you are, the colder it is. The further inland you are, the hotter it is, the more sun there is. So that sort of dictates what you're able to grow, where, and why. So those are kind of just generalizations. Any questions there? And then I'm going to hand it to Trini to kind of talk a little bit more about the Russian River, because again, that is what we know and know very well.
So, hey,
Any questions
Fernando.
so far?
Yeah, I got a question. This is Jack. So, we visited your location, my wife and I, last year. And what would happen if you tried to grow like a cab or something, that grape variety in the Russian River Valley? Would it just not grow? It just wouldn't be very good.
Trini, you want this one or shall I?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a stab at it. It's not hot enough. So that's the first thing. I mean, cabs really, really like the heat, and it takes them a long time to mature. Most of the cabs aren't the cabs that we take from Napa. We make a stagecoach vineyard Napa cab, which is grown just above Stag's Leap up in on the farthest eastern side of Napa, and it's hotter than hell over there. And there's a 50-degree diurnal shift in the day. It could be 110 during the day and 60 at night.
Wow.
So what happens is the fruit goes 5 steps forward and 4 steps back in the night. And it just takes a really long time for it to mature. So we would, you can grow Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon here for sure, but it's just going to be funky on the maturation. They do grow it up in Alexander Valley because it is hotter up there, but they grow some different clones than they grow in Napa because of the soil composition is different also. So a lot of factors that make it different.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing I'm going to piggyback off of all that and talk about the morphology of the grapes themselves. So Pinot Noir is quite literally thin-skinned, which translates to wines that are a little bit more acidic, less tannic. Whereas the Cabernet quite literally, again, has a thicker skin. So that translates to more color, more tannins, kind of a beefier wine. The thickness of the skin has a lot to do with kind of how the wine is going to end up. The grape clusters also look a little bit different. So where Pinot is really tight, really nicely bound, Cabernet has more stems to grapes. The ratio of stems to grapes is a little bit different. With stems come some green tannins as well. So sometimes cabs have this kind of vegetable, kind of bell pepper feel to them. Those molecules are called methoxypyrazines. They're found heavily on the stems, the seeds when they're underripe. So the morphology of the grape is telling you what can, should, would be grown. And again, that thickness has a lot to do with it. More sun protection.
By the way, thank you so much for inviting us because we never get a chance to geek out about the vines.
That's fascinating.
That's awesome.
Tell us what you drank today. Give us some words that you saw on the label so we can kind of talk about what you drank.
Well, so we haven't tasted yet, so we're doing a blind taste test after this call. So we probably should have had you on later, but we're getting ready to taste.
And yeah.
So basically, what I just heard is you need us to get off the phone very quickly.
No, not at all. Yeah. Nope.
We want to learn about what we're getting ready to drink.
We want them to know what's going to win. That's what.
You can always taste while they drink.
Well,
or
I'll tell you about there's 3 different areas in the Russian River Valley, by the way. So there's what's called the upper reach. So you're looking at the map here. The upper reach is where the vine or the river actually is very young and it starts up, above Healdsburg. And the middle reach of the Russian River is where we are. And the reason why they call it the Miracle Mile is because there's a big turn in the river right out where we are, and the river can't make the turn, so it jumps the bank sometimes and it comes into the vineyard. So we generally have standing water or running water in the vineyard every year. And so the river brings new nutrients and minerals, and this is alluvial soil, which means the place where our vineyard is in the middle of it used to be a river bed, basically. That's what alluvial means. And so the topsoil is quite deep. And so the Miracle Mile is the place where the river jumps the bank like the Nile. And it is literally the best place in the world to grow Pinot Noir because of that because of the soil, also because it's one of the lowest spots in the Russian River Valley. So what that means is that the fog comes and hangs in here a little bit longer. So we'll get a longer hang, which means that the Pinot, being thin-skinned like that, it really likes the heat, but it really likes the cool as well. So we'll have very cool nights. Even during the summer when it's quite hot, it'll be quite cool in the evening. So it'll be 105 during the day, and it'll be 60 at night. Which, by the way, is really great for living here also. But
my life goal at this point is to follow Pinot Noir throughout the world, because I am guaranteed great weather.
And then the river turns quickly here and it starts heading directly out to Jenner, which is, you've heard of Jenner by the sea, and you can see that down just above where it says West Coast Sonoma, or West Sonoma Coast. That's where the Russian River lets out into the Pacific Ocean there. And if you've ever been out there, it's really great to stand up and on Highway 1 and look out over the ocean where the river comes out, because there's usually about 100 seals down there basking in the sunshine. But the Russian River Valley is a very unique place in the world to grow grapes, and we're really blessed to be here. And it just so happens that Gracianna is in the middle. We're the half-mile mark of the Miracle Mile, which means we are literally in Pinot Central, of the best place in the world to grow Pinot.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm gonna brag for a second, because our 2023 Westside Reserve Pinot Noir, the best 3 barrels that we made in 2023, just won the sweepstakes awards at the Sonoma County Harvest Fair. What that entire sentence means is that we won essentially the best red wine produced this year. So we are still up in celebration about that. So again, we're super excited to be in your living room. Drinks your wine.
Congratulations on that. Woo!
That's awesome.
So this is a celebration, guys.
It is. The problem is we couldn't afford it, so that's not what we're serving today.
I was gonna say, get everybody to pitch in $5.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, also, I want to remind you that Gracianna was my great-grandmother. She was French Basque, and when I was a kid, she used to talk a lot about being thankful, and so that's why our wine is for people who have something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And we got in the wine business because we caught our son making wine in the garage when he was 15 years old. So now he's 40, and he just got done making his 25th vintage of Pinot.
Yeah.
Or of wine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very cool.
And you have one of the smaller wineries, probably the smallest.
Yeah, I mean, we're the smallest winery on West Side Road. We always will be. And, we're a small outfit. And as Fernando said, everybody does everything here. I mean, we're all multi-taskers. And, we built the brand. We started with 50 cases of Pinot and 50 cases of Zin in 2007. And here we are now making over 2,500, closer to 3,000 cases a year,
Wow.
15 years later.
How many acres is your winery?
Did you hear that?
Sorry?
How many acres is your vineyard?
How many acres? So that's a good question. We grow the estate Pinot Noir here, so that means it's estate grown on the property. We have 3 acres of the property. It's 1.25 acres of vineyard. It is, so this is it. You see the tasting room on the left, the estate house is on the right, and we're right over the top of the vineyard here. So we make about 250 cases out of this 1.25 acres.